What's up, builders? So today I want to talk about AI agents in a particular vertical, which is home service companies. And I'm seeing a lot of, I want to build this voice agent for Johnny Plumber down the street so it can take incoming calls and book jobs, which, it's a good idea. But I can tell you from personal experience, this conversation becomes much more nuanced. So I want to take the time today to kind of go through some of the problems that these agents face as you're building this out. One, for your own awareness as a builder, and two, for businesses that are looking to implement these types of solutions, things that you should be cognizant of. Okay, so what is a home service AI agent? And this could be in the form of a customer facing chatbot that is sitting on your website or an inbound voice agent. And the home service side is, of course, any company that comes through and performs an actual service inside of your home, be it a plumber, electrician, HVAC, those types of companies. So, why am I speaking about this? So, I have personal experience in this space, put out a video a few months ago, kind of going over a pest control chatbot demo to work with home service client. Get out of there, Discord. So, I have experience. That's why we're talking about this. So, what is the problem that we are trying to solve here, right? If you are a home service business, there's a good chance that you're spending ad dollars somewhere to get the phone to ring, okay? Customer has a problem. They go to Google, type in, I need an electrician. And then, of course, all the results pop up, your LSA, your PPC, you probably maybe even spending money to have somebody manage your, pay-per-click accounts, your GBP profile, all of this stuff pops up so that your customers can start interacting with you. Now, after you spend all of this ad dollars and you finally get the phone to ring, what's the worst possible interaction for your potential customer? And that is, of course, you don't answer. Now, why might you not answer the phone? Well, Johnny Plumber, there's a good chance he's inside somebody's home doing a valuable service to the world, fixing things and helping solve people's problems, right? So he is not sitting there waiting for his phone to ring. He is out in the field doing work. So, as a customer, what is your natural reaction when somebody on the other end doesn't answer the phone when you have a problem? You just go back to the good old Google machine. Okay, I called Kellum Mechanical, who's number one on the list. Let me call Michael and Sons, right? I'm just going to go to the next person and call until somebody interacts with me and is ready to solve my problem. So, what can we do to help out Johnny Plumber here? Now, I'm going to branch this conversation kind of into two different areas because if you have a franchise or you have multiple techs or you have a larger business with multiple employees, you're going to have a customer service rep pick up the phone and collect customer information and book a job, right? Or you might have a call center that you pay out. But for the individuals, and I'm going to come back to the franchises later because we're going to talk about that too. The individual, you're like, okay, let's build them an agent, right? Because instead of the phone ringing and it going to voicemail and the customer going and calling somebody else, I'll have an agent pick up. Now, once again, this could be forward facing on the website too as a chatbot, although if Johnny Plumber doesn't have a lot of web traffic, that might not be a great solution. So for the voice agents, which makes a lot of sense, what is the functionality of this agent going to do? Number one, it's going to collect some customer information. Hi, who's calling? This is Johnny Plumber's AI assistant. It's going to qualify the type of service, right? So maybe you have a few different offerings depending on what your home service niche is. And then you're going to provide some general knowledge. These are the times we normally have, or hours of operation. You kind of put whatever you want in there that people normally ask you on the phone. But here's the important part. What happens at the end of this phone call? The agent is really only able to handle, okay, we're going to be in touch with you. And then the agent forwards all this information and sends Johnny Plumber an email that says, hey, you had somebody reach out to you. Might want to hit him back. Well, at the end of this call, the customer feels a little bit better than they did when nobody answered the phone. But once again, somebody will be in contact. A member of our team will be in contact with you. Doesn't exactly exude a bunch of confidence that their problem is going to be solved. What if Johnny Plumber doesn't call me back? What if he calls me back after his long day of work and I'm eating dinner with my family? I don't want to talk. So this, once again, is a better solution, but maybe not as good as it could be, right? So one of the things that might be a good thought that one of you agent builders might have, let's just tie into Google Calendar, right? Johnny Plumber has an email. We'll start booking jobs straight from the AI agent, and we'll just slap some times in there. But what starts to happen is, okay, I put in 2-hour bands or 4-hour bands for availability. What if you have me drive 45 minutes in one direction and it takes me an hour to get back into the service area? Where's the gap? How much gap do I put in between appointments? What if I have an appointment that takes me longer than a single day and I've got to go back to the house? What if I get so much inbound that Johnny decides to hire another technician? Where am I going to place these jobs? And you start to realize very quickly that the logic for the individual agent starts to get complex rather quickly. And honestly, a lot of this stuff shouldn't be inside of the agent to begin with because it might slow down the interactions with the customer. So Johnny Plumber realizes rather quickly he needs a dispatch board. He can't just get by with Google Calendar and not having something. Now, this is a snapshot out of Service Titan, which is a popular home service CRM. And as you can see, I've got multiple technicians. I can drag and drop. I can see what's on the board. And for most businesses, this is what the customer service reps have open when they are interacting with potential customers to talk about availability. So, okay, let's say Johnny Plumber gets a dispatch board. I'll just have my agent start interacting and tying into things into this dispatch board. Now, on the surface, that's a great idea, but you will often find that some of these APIs with the CRMs are not as useful as you hope them to, or you put them into a bookings tab and somebody has to actually physically go in and drag and accept the new booking onto the board, which opens up potential for what if the CSR forgets to do that? Or what if there are 2 times that are not actually available and you have to call back the customer and say, I'm sorry, I actually don't have availability. Like, you inject a bunch of instances where things either slip through the cracks or you provide a negative user experience to the people that are attempting to book your services. And also, you start to become a little bit more reliant on whatever the CRM or the dispatch board company is, waiting around for features and roadmaps. And you hope that this box that they force you to live in will eventually get you the thing that you need in order for you to run smooth operations. So, what is the alternative? Is there a better solution to this? And the answer is yes. You need a custom scheduler, right? This is an example of a custom scheduler, which is a modal pop-up that sits on the website, and somebody that comes and clicks book now. Now I can just look and see all of the available time windows for somebody to come out to my home and service my house. I don't have to do this back and forth with, hey, what's a good time for you? Does this work? No. Oh, hold on. I forgot to pull up my calendar. You just let the customer pick what they want, right? And of course, this comes with a bunch of potentially useful features as a custom scheduler. You can have leads go right to the dispatch board, which prevents people from forgetting to drag things over. You can have automation notifications, closest technician feature. Hey, we've already got this guy out in that area. Let's pop him over to this house instead of having your techs drive by each other and high-fiving on the windows, burning up a bunch of your gas money. You can tie in with marketing. Unavailability log, it's, hey, what gives you a ping every time that you're showing customers that you're not available. This particular modal books up to 30% of jobs just straight from here, which means that every time you book a job from a modal, you don't even need a conversation with an agent. So you're getting ahead of it, getting ahead of the issue. You don't need to talk to a CSR. You don't need to talk to an agent and burn tokens and all these other things. So if you start interacting with a custom scheduler through a voice agent or a chat, instead of tying in and trying to handle all of this logic from the CRM, you already have a decision engine that is giving you useful features, which means that you create for your customer the best interaction possible, which is, I want a self-service kiosk, basically, that allows me to qualify myself, let you know as a business what my problem is. My lights are flickering. This outlet's not working. My garage door is rickety. I need somebody to pressure wash my driveway. Like, whatever it is, let me, as a homeowner, interact with your business, tell you what I need, and then let me know when you're coming out to solve my problem. That way, I don't have to think about, let me go down the list to the next person on Google or whoever it is. You can just give me a complete self-service booking experience. Now, as you are building out these agents, let me zoom out a little bit here. If you have a customer that starts interacting with a voice agent or a chatbot, where am I going to pull all of your information from? Where am I going to handle the logic, the fact that you have service techs that have different skill levels? So I need to appropriately assign this tech to this job, right? That will be very difficult for your companies and your agencies building out these agents to handle inside of the logic. But if I'm using a custom scheduler that's already doing that anyways, it reduces the amount of APIs and function calls and custom code that has to be injected into the individual agent, and allows me to get up and running much quicker. Not to mention tying right back into the CRM, helping you with ops, and just keeping this dispatch board full as possible, with as little effort, management, upkeep, modification as we can get. Now, the reason that I am making you all problem aware is that I'm going to probably start showcasing a decent amount of these over the coming months in this particular niche, in this particular vertical. So I thought it was a good idea for you to be aware of what I am doing. That way, when you see these solutions be showcased, you're like, okay, Connor has gone the full, Start from the beginning through, okay, I understand what this problem is. It's way more nuanced than anybody wants to say. And a lot of that is from the AI bros out there that are saying, hey, let AI come and do all of this stuff for you. That sounds great on the surface. But remember, you have a business to run. You have ops that you need to make sure is being appropriately handled and all of this logic. Your business is complex. So you really need to sit down and make sure that you are building custom bespoke agents that tie into the tools that you are using, that have a decision engine behind them that does smart things, because otherwise you're going to get a half-baked product. You're going to get an agent that just cycles through and doesn't ask the right questions, that doesn't help your customer, that introduces friction instead of reduces it. So for the two tech stack pieces here that I will probably be showcasing, the CRM you already saw from the dispatch board, Service Titan, which Service Titan just IPO'd several months ago. They've got thousands of home service businesses tied into them, using them as a CRM. And then for the custom scheduler side, that particular modal was Street to Fleet. And Street to Fleet ties directly into Service Titan. So this is a custom piece of software that has been built because this out-of-the-box features from Service Titan, it's not enough, right? And the individuals that are running this company have a lot of experience with home service ops, and they know where all of this is going, tying in marketing, doing all of this other stuff, building out and interacting with agents. So as this agentic functionality and as customers continue to seek this self-service booking functionality, as a business owner, as an agent builder, you need to be aware that these solutions, in order to be impactful and help your bottom line, have a little bit more sophistication than you may realize, which means that you need to start investing appropriate resources to get ready for this. Then maybe you start to have conversations. What would a custom scheduler look like for us, and how could that be helpful? Anyways, no, I didn't do any particular AI and showcasing or anything of that nature, but I know that this problem exists, and I know that AI is being implemented in order to attempt to solve it. And I certainly want to continue to be part of that solution. So if any of you have any questions, feel free to reach out or wait till next time. Talk to you guys soon. Thanks.